Just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode, a very special episode of Bloke in a Bar, because I have sitting across from me, one of my favourite fullbacks of all time. What's going on, brother?
Brennan, how are you, mate?
Anthony Minichiello.
Yes, we've been chatting for a while, actually,
Yep.
about coming on the podcast, and we finally made it happen. I'm excited.
Mate, so, you know, the great Minichiello, what have you been doing lately? Obviously, we were talking earlier about the mini fit. Walk us through that.
Well, you know, obviously it's been, since I last played, it's like 6 and a bit years now. So, and I must say I had a really good transition because I had the full-time role at the Roosters. But now that's starting to wind down where I'm just an ambassador of the club. Always been involved in the club because I love the club so much.
Yep.
But I've had my minifit business, you know, I started in 2010 actually. I was still playing footy. And basically it started with the program being a multi-sports program going into schools.
Yep.
Because I started to realise that public schools especially don't have PE teachers anymore, or most of them don't. And
No way. I did not know that.
They outsource all their physical activity.
Holy shit.
So I started going into the school system a little bit. And that was when I was still playing, which you find it hard because you know you got a commitment to your training and stuff like that. And then I retired in 2014, and I hooked up with Leagues Clubs Australia, a great CEO there, Peter Turnbull, who's moved on now, but he got me into that space, and I held holiday clinics for the club industry, which I still do now. You know, bowling clubs, RSLs, Leagues Clubs. And that business is ticking over quite nicely. And so I wanted to expand it and grow the business and go back into the school system. And last year, you wouldn't believe it, a former teacher of mine from Preston's Public School in Year 6, where I went, my second footy coach as well, and he's a Roosters fan, he emailed me and said, "Oh, mate, you've had a great career, been following your career. What are you doing with Minifit?" He was teaching over in Hong Kong for 18 years. He goes, "Mate, I'm actually coming back. Yeah. What are you doing with Minifit? Do you think you'll go back into the school system?" And I was like, so weird that you emailed me this now because I'm actually thinking about going back into the schools.
Yep.
And he goes, "I love your program. You know, you got your 5 foundations, which are exercise, nutrition, hydration, sleep, and screen time."
Okay.
We try to teach kids on how to grow up healthy and strong, and through those 5 foundations, we think that we can do that. And he goes, "Mate, I'll align that to the PDHPE syllabus.
Yep.
And then we can get it out to the schools."
So the PDHP syllabus, what's that?
PDHP syllabus is outcomes that all schools need to show. So PE.
Okay.
Physical activity,
So
physical literacy.
Standards they kind of need to hit?
Standards that every school needs to hit and needs to be ticked off.
Cool.
So I said, "Yep, let's do it." So he aligned the program to the syllabus, and now he hadn't come back till July last year. But this is the start of last year.
Yeah.
And so I had this great plan, and then obviously COVID hit.
Oh, bruh. Oh, my God.
Which everything got shut down and put on pause, you know, for the year, basically. So then I sort of switched to an online platform where I plugged that into my website, and I was building a subscription base, dropping out live 15-minute workouts. This time more directed to families or adults.
Yep.
Kid-friendly, obviously, because there's no equipment needed.
Body weight and that.
Yeah, so they could train in the comfort of their own home by watching me, train with me in their own home. So now there's sort of 3 arms to the business that's come out of that. Now sort of COVID's dying down, hopefully.
Hopefully.
So now there's 3 arms of the business. Well, I've got the school holiday clinics. I've got the school term programs that are kicking back in now. We've got a few schools starting next week. And then I've got the Minifit online, which is great. So as we were speaking earlier, it's exciting when you're building something of your own. You know?
Absolutely.
So that's where Minifit sits at the moment. And if anyone wants to train with me, they can just sign up through the website. It's easy.
Mate, how good is that? And for anyone, you wouldn't say this, but I promise you, any Roosters player that was around, this is for people listening, that was around when Mini was around, will attest that this guy is one of the best trainers and brought in things that are now mainstream or beginning to become mainstream probably 10 years ago. So if there's a bloke who knows what he's doing, it's yourself. You won't say that. I know you won't say that, but I'm telling you, any NRL player in the era when you were playing has come to, like when I speak to them, say, bro, Mini was he led the way when it came to training. So if that isn't a stamp of approval for people listening that may be on the edges of trying it, I mean, I'm honestly thinking about trying it myself, to be honest.
Yeah.
I need to do it, bro. Because I'm in the gym just trying to get aesthetically pleasing. I'm not trying to be fit. I'm not trying to be the man. I just want to look okay in a T-shirt.
Yeah.
That's my goal, the T-shirt. I was looking good for a bit. COVID hit. Now, I'll use COVID as an excuse, but really I'm just a fucking pussy. Yeah. And then I lost it all. So yeah, if you guys are on the fence, like, stamp of approval from all the NRL boys. You walk us through that. So 2010, you did your back, correct? Oh, your back was injured?
No. So yeah, 2006, I had my first back injury, and I didn't come back until 2010.
Wow,
I had a 4-year run. Yeah.
Is this what started your passion for what you're doing now? Do you think?
100%.
Okay,
100%. So what happened was, like, I grew up on a farm, southwest of Sydney.
Okay,
Italian heritage. So the whole Italian culture is to grow your own, cook your own at home, So if you've got the room, you grow it and you cook it. Mum's a pretty good cook, so she used to cook everything up. We had cows, chickens, eggs, fruit trees, veggie patches, all in the backyard.
Wow.
Mum used to cook all that natural produce up. So we had a really strong foundation, younger brother, younger sister, and we never seemed to get sick a lot. We never got injured. We played multiple sports. Before I played league, gymnastics and athletics was my two main sports.
Yep.
Never got injured. So I had a really good, strong foundation. Signed at the Roosters at 16. Moved out of home at 18 because travelling in, wanted to be closer to where we were training. And first grade at 19 in year 2000. And my rise was pretty quick from there on.
Absolutely.
We were a pretty good team at the Roosters. My first year,
good.
first grade.
Yeah.
We made a grand final. We lost to the Broncos. But 2 years after that, we win the premiership against the Warriors, and then win another grand final, and things were just coming easy.
Yeah.
And
that age-old
I didn't
tale.
get injured.
That age-old tale.
I didn't get injured. Like, I was well put together.
Yep.
I didn't have one soft tissue injury. I played more games than anyone in a 3-year period through 03 to 05. And
you're flying here.
I'm flying.
Yeah.
I thought I was unbreakable because but we had nutritionists, dietitians, all from the conventional model. But they were saying you're blessed. You got great genes and genetics from your grandparents and parents. You're one of the lucky ones. You can eat what you want. You can do what you want.
Yeah.
That's what when you get told that in your early 20s. That's what I was doing.
You believe it. You want to believe it, 100%.
I was drinking all weekend.
Yeah.
Sleeping tablets and painkillers and prescription medication through the week if I had bumps and bruises. You're pushing our bodies to the absolute limit every weekend.
The amount of Voltaren and stuff I used to have.
Yeah.
I lived on it.
Yeah.
I lived on it. I didn't even think there was a downside to it.
Well, I didn't think there was a downside to it either. Then you start to realise long-term use of these things really harm your gut first and foremost, and then your inflammation builds from that. So in 2005, I probably had one of my best individual years, win all these great individual awards, but I had inflammation just bubbling away underneath. I had signs in my body, but I was ignoring the signs.
Okay.
Back would flare up. I'll get a cortisone on Monday, play on a Friday. Wow. Really, you should be resting for 2 weeks after a guided cortisone needle straight into your spine.
100%.
I was doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because I had that in the back of my head where I'm unbreakable. I've just got great genes, great genetics. But slowly I was deteriorating those good genes because of what I was doing to myself.
Yep.
And I had skin rashes and stomach ulcers developing in 05, but I just kept pushing on.
So your body was just yelling at you pretty much.
Yelling at
screaming.
me. Yeah.
Wow.
It was yelling at me. And, there's a great photo when I speak on nutrition now. There's a great photo I always show, and it's at the end of the year in 2005. We're on a kangaroo tour, and we're at the International Players Awards, and I win the Golden Boot Award. Pretty prestigious award. Arthur Beetson, the great Arthur Beetson's handed me this award. And someone snaps a photo. My face is puffy. My eyes are almost closed over. Wow. My hands are puffy and I'm like, I'm supposed to be in the prime of my career.
Yeah.
Now looking back at that, I'm like, mate, there's the perfect sign right there.
Wow.
Inflammation, oxidative stress in the body was just out of control, but I wasn't listening to it all.
Yeah.
So 2006 preseason, I injured my back pretty bad. I rehab it. I start to play round 1, play the first 6 rounds, constant hamstring pain, which I thought was hamstring pain, but was actually nerve pain down my left leg. I get selected to play back in the Australian team, but Tony Ayub, the physio at the time, I couldn't even bend over and touch my toes. I was bending over and touching my knees before that sharp pain would dig in. And he goes, mate, you can't play like this.
Yeah,
I said, but
absolutely.
every time I warm up, it fades away. I'll be right. That was my attitude, you know. And he goes, mate, I've got to rule you out. You cannot play like this.
Yeah.
He sent me to a specialist. I had an MRI. I had a ruptured disc in my L5S1, one of the lowest
ruptured
discs.
disc.
Yeah, ruptured disc, permanently hitting my sciatic nerve. And
Because that can be dangerous.
yeah,
That can cause more damage.
100%.
Wow.
Yeah, that's that pain that I was experiencing, and went and seen a surgeon, and he goes, mate, you need an operation. You know, it was probably one of the first back operations in the league at the time.
Wow.
And I thought, you know, I've played more games than anyone. I'm going to have a rest. Let's have a rest this year, get the operation done, come back bigger and better in 07. So I do that, and the nerve pain immediately subsided after the operation. I get back out, I'm starting to train, starting to prepare for the 2007 season. But, you know, I'm still doing 2 anti-inflammatories in the morning, 2 at night. 2 in the morning. I'm doing this daily.
Wow.
So I thought they were helping me.
It's years after doing them as well. Like,
Yeah.
you've been doing them for 6 years or whatever, pretty much.
I'm doing them on and off for 6 years, and then now I'm doing them daily because
Wow.
I think they're helping me.
Yep.
2007, I played the first 10 games. I get back in the blue squad to play game 1. We lose our first game. I'm in camp for game 2, and the game's in Sydney, and we're at Coogee, and it was 3 days out before the game. We're having breakfast. We're catching the team bus back out to Homebush and stay the last couple of nights there before the big game. I literally just roll out of bed, put my socks on. I hear this click. Back goes into spasm. Now I've got severe nerve pain immediately running down my right leg, which is the opposite leg.
What?
I scramble to the floor, and that's where I stay.
I couldn't because
Bus drives off.
Wow.
I have to get pulled out of that game, obviously.
So were they trying to call you? Like, where are you in that?
Liz Steet, the physio at the time, I call her up, and she's trying to maneuver some pressure points, and nothing was given. I had to just lay on the floor on a hard surface
in your hotel room?
in my hotel room.
Far out.
And
you got Origin in 2 nights?
2 nights, yeah.
Oh, my
Yeah,
God.
Origin in 2 nights.
Yeah.
So I pull out of that game. I have to. I couldn't move.
Absolutely.
And I'll go back to the specialist and see the surgeon sitting at St. Vincent's, and he goes, mate, the disc above, the L45 this time, the one above the L5S1, has done the same thing. It's ruptured again.
God.
And he asked me the question. He goes, do you want to come back and play rugby league? I was like, 100%. I'm 27, of course.
Yeah, I've only had one real bad injury, really. Yeah.
And he goes, all right, well, we have to do a little bit of a smaller operation, not to try and affect the structure of your spine, so you can come back and play a contact sport. And I said, let's go for it.
Wow.
I go in, get the operation, and the nerve pain wasn't like the last one where the first operation, it was gone straight away after the op. This time I had this gnawing pain in my right glute still.
Was it like an ache, kind of?
It was like a dull ache that came and it went. And,
gross.
And he goes, look, it's going to be fine. Just inflammation around the
More
operation.
more-
Oh, no, yeah, more inflammation. And here, have some more anti-inflammatories. So I remember a year after that operation, I had just these explosions of pins and needles in my right hip.
Wow.
Every time I go to bed.
So we're
annoying.
We're talking 2008 now?
We're talking moving into 2008.
Yeah, okay.
So, again, I haven't changed anything in my lifestyle, my food, my nutrition, anything. I'm still doing the anti-inflammatories, and I'm preparing for the 2008 season. I play the first 6 games. I'm on the bench press. I just push out a rep. I pinch a nerve in my neck.
Oh,
Don't
I've done
think
that
anything
before.
of it.
I've
Yeah,
done that
you
before.
like that, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think anything of it. I go out and play that game.
Yeah.
Towards the end of that game, call for the water bottle. I go to squeeze the water bottle in my left hand, and my wrist just caves in.
Wow.
Like no
That's
power.
scary.
I'm trying to get water out of the bottle, and it's like that. And I'm like, shit, that's weird. I finish off the game. I tell the doc, and he's like, that doesn't sound right.
Wow.
This is a Sunday night game. He goes, I'll book you in for an MRI tomorrow. I get the MRI, and I'm on field.
Yeah.
On Tuesday, we had a short turnaround preparing for a Friday night game. I'm at Allianz.
So even then, you still haven't gone,
No.
I need to just chill here.
No,
and just...
I'm still in that mode, you know?
Yeah.
I hadn't changed anything of my thinking. And I remember our physio just come tearing out down the tunnel. I'm training on the field, and he's like, Minnie, get off the field, get off. And he's screaming my name. I'm like, I pull back from the playing group. I'm like, what's up? He goes,
Yeah.
mate, your reports just come back from your MRI. You've got a significant disc bulge in your C5, C6 vertebra.
Oh, my.
The MRI is saying you're 1 millimeter away from your spinal cord. Any type of hit could put you in a wheelchair. And
Wow.
anyway, I was in shock. I didn't even know what to say. So we're just walking to the sideline, and then a million thoughts start rushing in your head. What's going on with my spine? I've had 2 back operations. I had a smaller disc bulge in my mid back. Now I've got this huge one in my neck.
Oh,
Again, we're back at St. Vincent's Hospital, and the doc, he MRIs my whole spine, and I can tell he didn't want to turn around. He's just like looking at this image, looking at it, and here myself, my physio beside me, I was like, what's the verdict, doc?
Yeah.
And he was like, I think you should probably find a new career.
Wow.
Like, why is that? And he's like, see all these discs here? In a healthy spine, they should be white. All of them in your spine are black. That means they're dehydrated. This is why they start bulging out and rupturing. What? You know, you're 28. I haven't really seen it in someone so young, but this is what happens as you age. But you know, you're only 28.
Yeah.
I said, so well, how do you fix it? How do you rehydrate a disc again? And he's like, it's pretty hard to come back from this point on. That was the news that was handed down to me in 2008. That gets filtered back to the Roosters. And I was still on contract for another year. And even they didn't know what to do with me because they've tried everything.
Absolutely.
They tried everything and I was getting injured and they're all spine injuries.
And on top of that, you know, you would have been a well-paid player and one of their main players. It's really pressure on the cap.
Yep.
So all those decisions, loyalty, you've done so much, you've won premierships, Origin, but at the same time they're going, fuck, if we, you know, what do we do here?
I know. And I must say that through that period, the Roosters backed me 100%. You know, they were just fantastic. And I always say any other club or any other sport, any other industry, and you have 3 big injuries in a row, and you're using your body as your work, they get rid of you.
Mate,
you know?
100%.
And they backed me. And you know, through that 2008 period, I was pretty lucky because I met my wife through this period, and you know. When she first came into my house, she opened the medicine cabinet and she's like, what the hell is going on here? Like, you're not a chemist. I had shit everywhere.
Yeah.
Anyway, she says, why aren't you eating better? Why aren't you getting rid of all this stuff? You're an athlete. You should be looking after yourself. You know, she always prompted me to try and find answers. And I was seeing people and I was like, pretty hard from this point to come back. Pretty hard from this point to come. I was seeing everyone. And she kept encouraging me to try and find the root cause of why was this happening. So I just went on this quest to just try and find someone that will give me some type of confidence to say, this is what you need to do. If you do it, you can repair yourself.
Yep.
And then I found one guy, good mate of mine now, Aaron McKenzie, business called Origin Energy, functional movement type training, but ties in lifestyle and nutrition.
Okay.
Went and seen him. And he said, look, you can repair your body if you're willing to make some sacrifices with your lifestyle and do things consistently.
Okay.
So I was invested in that straight away. I was
absolutely.
like, mate, let's go.
Because it's like pretty much that or retire.
Well, that's what it was. So, you know, that's what I was faced with. So I used to see him once a week. And he had at the time, he had a studio in his house. And he used to film the last part of my workout, send it over to me, and then I'll go and then we talk about nutrition and what we can do, and I can go in deeper about that soon. But I'll go take my phone into the Roosters gym, set it up in the corner, and do all like that cable one-legged stuff and one-arm dumbbells and one-legged, all this functional type training, which wasn't around in especially rugby league.
No way.
The heavier you go, the
powerful,
better. Power.
Yeah.
Put more plates on.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, "Oh, Minnie's over there in the corner doing all this weird shit."
Who's a crazy old guy? He's 28's older.
Let's let him do what he wants. You know, he's injured. So I was doing all that, and I started to feel stronger.
Yep.
So I was preparing for the 2009 season now. Yeah, so I do round 2 down in Canberra, and I do all my ligaments in my left ankle, syndesmosis, the 3 major ligaments, and there's it's a rotation injury and the injury, and the force was so bad that the pressure went up my fibula, the smaller bone in your leg, and I had a spiral fracture under my knee. I was out for another 22 weeks.
22 weeks.
I'm coming off. This is round 2.
What's the head like? You just head noise off?
Yeah. So I'm coming off contract too now.
Oh.
And I remember we're just sitting in hospital with my wife, and I just didn't know what. Just weren't saying a thing. She's like, "No, you'll be right. Don't worry." And I remember speaking with Aaron the following days after that, and he said, "Look, yeah, this could be a blessing in disguise for you, where you can take 2 steps back, or 1 or 2 steps back from week to week combat and training and pushing your body to the limit, and really start to focus on building a stronger core and spine and focusing on your nutrition." And I was pretty lucky. The Roosters again offered me a 1-year deal, match payments, so I took that up.
Yep.
And that's when I started to dive into the research around food and the role it plays within healing and restoration in the body. So this is when I started to evolve and learn about all this stuff. And
so
that was through my injuries.
2010?
So I'm going into 2010 now. Yeah.
Wow. Was there any period where you're like, I should probably give this up, or never really thought that?
Well, no, there wasn't really, not in my head, no. But, the neck injury was a serious injury because, when you get told any type of hit could put you in a wheelchair, that's when you think, shit, this is just a game. You got your whole life ahead of you, you're a young bloke. But I was so focused on trying to repair myself that I just there's also articles saying you should retire. You've had a great career already, and all that was just fueling the fire for me. So I just pursued someone that gave me confidence, and that was Aaron. Right, wow. And then I started to feel better. I got rid of all the prescription medication. I decreased my consumption of alcohol. I started focusing on sleep, hydration, and really in-depth nutrition. Right. And I felt, when I got rid of all the shit, I felt shit for 2 weeks.
Yeah, just like detoxing.
Detoxing. Crap was coming out. But the first thing I noticed was I got better. After the 2-week point, I got better sleep, much deeper sleep. So I woke up in a better headspace. Then you can make better decisions. Your body starts to recover a lot quicker because you're getting more quality sleep.
Yep.
And that's what I noticed. And then the physical body started to repair after that.
Yep.
And then once I started feeling the difference, mental clarity, focus, natural energy, that's when I started to dive into nutrition a lot deeper.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about like so much behind such a big part of your life now. All of these things happening to take you down this path. And then if there's anyone's passionate about it, because you can hand on Bible or whatever you believe in, be like, this works.
Yeah.
I promise you this works. Wow, that's crazy. So the 2010, because I think, I don't know, I forgot who I was talking to, but it was someone that was a Roosters at that time, and they were like, when you walked in, you were eating like bone broth, and they're like, what is Mini eating? What is going on? The boys were giving it a bit of lip about it, but they were also, there was other players that started like jumping on the bandwagon a little bit and doing similar. I could be wrong, but this is what I was just told by the boys that, and it changed a lot of people's career, like helped a lot of people's careers. Yeah,
so I've basically got 4 steps that I follow now, and that's, I'll share them quickly, is that know the source of your food, get to know the source of your food. So if you're eating animal products, it's got to be pasture-raised, good quality products. Eating plant foods, it's got to be seasonal, fruit and veg, local if you can. And then the process of that. So the cooking oils becomes really important, what cooking oils you cook with, and the way you cook it. If you're roasting something, cook it really long and slow to keep the nutrition intact.
Okay.
Step 3 is to decrease your consumption of refined and processed foods.
Okay.
Which cause inflammation and causes blood sugar rises. Then the fourth one is the intermittent fast, and let the body recover and get into ketosis, burn fat as fuel.
I can attest to that.
Yeah.
I started doing that probably like maybe 16 months ago.
Yep.
I fell off the wagon in COVID.
Yep.
But before, I swear, it's so good.
Amazing. It's an amazing tool that anyone can use in their own daily lives, incorporated in their own daily lives. So that's the 4 steps that I follow now and I talk about. But back in 2010, I started focusing on the quality of my produce, bone broth, so boiling bones over a 24-hour period.
Yep. And
that draws all the fat-soluble vitamins and the collagen and amino acids out of the bones.
Okay.
So I got rid of the Gatorade, got rid of the protein powders. I'd make my own smoothies through coconut water and collagen powder. And then I'd make bone broth, and I'd have slow cooks, and I'd bring all that in, and I'd have my meal at training from what I cooked last night.
Okay.
So that I'd changed everything,
Yeah. Is it for people listening? Like, I think a lot of people, especially people that may not have as much money, is this financially viable for them?
It's a good question. So there's been studies on this all around the world, but there's been one out of Monash University that when you eat whole fresh food and you're actually more satiated, so you're actually fuller for longer. So when you eat a processed meal or a high rich carbohydrate meal, what happens? Your blood sugar rises, and it dips, and an hour or two later you're hungry again.
Absolutely.
So these junk foods are designed to keep you coming back, eating more, snacking. So then you get locked into a system where you're eating 6-7 times a day.
Yeah. Because
blood sugar's doing this.
Okay.
So if you're eating more whole, fresh food, more natural fats, good quality protein, good quality plant foods, you don't have to. You eat twice a day.
Okay.
Sometimes you eat once a day. Or you eat 3 times a day, and you don't snack. Okay. And that's all you need.
All right.
So there's a cost cut there.
Yeah.
But also, I talk about when you go to the butcher and you buy grass-fed meat, obviously the price is higher. But if you're buying the slow cook cuts or the lamb shank or the lamb shoulder or whatever it may be, they're the cheap cuts anyway.
Okay.
They're the cheap cuts. Everyone, if you want to buy the eye fillet and Scotch fillet, obviously you're paying a high price for that.
Absolutely.
But the cheaper cuts that you have to slow cook for over 4, 5, 6 hours, they're the cheap cuts, and they have much more nutrition intact because they're the connective tissue muscles of the animal, which means they're ligaments, tendons, coming from a healthy animal first and foremost, and that's going to repair our tendons, ligaments, cartilage, and recovery protocols within the body.
Wow, that's crazy, man. It's like crazy to think like, for example, their ligaments help heal our ligaments. Yeah, it makes sense. You know what I mean? Like when you like, well, logically, surely that makes sense. But so it's more. It's not necessarily. So people that say it's not financially viable, it is financially viable, and also it's probably more about planning. Preparing
100%.
That's
preparation's the key.
That's the key to everything.
And you know what's the most simplest thing is? Buy yourself a slow cooker. $30 or $40.
Okay.
I cook things overnight, or I cook things all day. So before I left the house this morning, I threw on lamb shanks. By the time I get home this afternoon, they're falling off the bone. It's perfect. Just falling off the bone, perfect. And I steam veggies, make a huge salad. 15-minute process. Boom. Easy, done. Yep. And then you've got leftovers as well. Or I'll do it overnight. Well, I wake up, it's all falling off the bone. I'll take some for lunch that day.
So it's not like it's actually probably quicker than, cooking
it's quicker.
that there, putting it all together.
You know what happens? It is much quicker. And you know what happens with a slow cooker? You can't stuff it up. You hit low, you hit 8 hours or whatever hour you want, and just leave it.
Yeah. And then it buzzes, and then you go and pick it up.
Yeah.
Man, that's what an incredible journey. I'm so glad that I heard that, because as I said, I'd heard from so many people that you introduced things at the Roosters that, because I think there was a year where you really struggled, and then a lot of people jumped on board that healthy system.
Yeah, that's right. So what happened was, 2008, I got into all this. Fitzy got into it in 2008 as well.
Who's now Craig Fitzgibbon is now the assistant coach at the Roosters.
Correct, assistant coach, great man. Anyway, in 2010 when I started to come back, then there was a couple of questions, and then I made it back into the Origin team in 2011. Then the questions come thick and fast. How'd you repair your spine? I got a back injury. I've had an operation, mate. I'm stuffed. All that started, and then there was players always coming to me. We didn't preach about it, but if players asked, then I would provide them some information, and then a couple of players were cooking themselves and getting good produce. But in 2013, when the year before we didn't even make the 8, Trent Robinson got announced as head coach. Keegan Smith was our strength and conditioning coach.
He's a Red Hell fella, hey?
Yeah, so he's Brian Smith's son, one of Brian Smith's sons. Yeah, and he's fully into this lifestyle as well, right? So he's fully into the quality food, and we just adopted it, and we cut out the bread, the pasta, the soft drinks on all team trips away.
I love bread though.
Yeah, I know. I love bread. We had an organic food truck that come in and cooked this quality protein with heaps of vegetables every day. And we just seen a lot of the boys' bodies transform that year. And we had a record year that year. We won the minor premiership and premiership. That was obviously the nutrition was a contributing factor to that, and there's a lot of other things that went on that year. But that was certainly a contributing factor. Yeah.
Well, especially like the year before, what did you come like?
I think we finished 13th or something.
Yeah, it was not a good year for the Roosters. And then the next year, you looked unbeatable. There wasn't very many. I think it was like only the Rabbitohs that looked like they might challenge you, but you bounced them in the prelim.
Got them in the prelim.
Imagine, I've always said this: a Roosters Rabbitohs finals would be so hectic.
But how close has it come? Like
so many times.
So in 14, right? It should have happened in 14. This was my last year. We played Penrith in the first semi-final, which we should have beaten them, but we just didn't have a good day. And they come back in extra time or whatever it was. I think Soward kicked the field goal. Dusted us. And then it put us on the Rabbitohs side of the draw. So we played them again in the prelim, and we jumped out to a 12-0 lead, and then they come back and got us by 10 points that game. And then they go on to win the grand final against the Bulldogs. So, but it's come so close. Even the last few years, that's come close. Rabbitohs, Roosters, grand final. But just imagine it. Like the media would lap it up. The fans would be going nuts.
I'm from Queensland, and I would love it. I didn't even grow up knowing the rivalry. I literally played soccer. I didn't watch any rugby league, and yet the two finals I want to see, like seeing Brisbane Cowboys.
Yeah,
that's ticked off
was
the box
there,
now.
that was awesome.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
I was there too. It was
Yeah.
fucking amazing. I mean, it was devastating, but it was also amazing. So that's ticked off. But the only other two I want to see is, I mean, obviously I want to see all of them, but Roosters, Rabbitohs, I want to see that in my lifetime.
I know.
And I want to see two Western teams, Sydney Western teams go at it. I just want to see what the West would look like with, say, the Eels versus Penrith. Oh my God.
It'll be all time. Those rivalries, that's what makes the game, obviously. But I think that wasn't last year, the year before, when we played South in the prelim again. And it happened, it was at Allianz Stadium before it got knocked down. And mate, the tension, like we got to the stadium hours early, and the tension was in the air the whole time. The feeling was, I was nervous. I wasn't even playing. It was unbelievable. Yeah. So a grand final would be all time.
It's what again, I think as a footy fan, we need that. Yeah. That would just be iconic. There was something would happen. Something would happen. But yeah, it takes us back to a young fella. So you obviously grew up on a farm. But so you were born in Liverpool,
yes,
and then you grew up on a farm. Whereabouts did you grow up?
So I was born in Liverpool. We lived our first 5 or 6 years in Casula, just in a normal block. And then when I was 6 or 7, we moved to Preston's on 5 acres. Yep. And then we had another
crazy. I used to live on 5 acres. That's crazy.
It's the best. The best. Then I had another 5 acres beside us that no one lived in. So we had 10 acres just to run around. Where, we had motorbikes and slug guns and paddy bashes and, we were just outdoors every day.
The dream kid. Yeah. Like the dream spot for a kid to grow up.
Oh, it was all time. Every weekend as we got older, it'll be just friends coming over. And we're off in the cars and the bikes, and we'll come back for lunch. My mum will cook us lunch, and we're off again. And we'll come back when the sun went down. So it was a great childhood for sure.
And so, at what stage did you start playing rugby league? Pretty much like 5, 6 years old, or
no? So my brother started when he was 5 or 6. He started when he was 6. I started gymnastics.
Yep. Okay.
So my first sport was gymnastics. It was, I suppose in the 80s, that's a weird sport to get into. Yeah. So it was my uncle's wife's sister was a gymnastics coach at Macquarie Fields. Yep. Big centre out there. And
man, is that why you were like, I know you wouldn't say this, but you were so strong pound for pound. Do you think that's a lot to do with your core that you built?
I 100% believe it for sure.
Yeah.
I think
gymnastics
for a boy and girl at a young age gives them a great foundation
100%.
And a good step ahead in any sport. Absolutely. Because the body awareness, the core stability, there's flexibility, and that you build up through gymnastics is second to none. The training that they do is amazing. So I started when I was 7 to about 11, and I was like doing pretty good at tumbling and trampolining.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was going to state and winning state. And
no way.
But it's an individual sport. Yeah. And then
so
when I was 10, I had my mates at school at Casula, and they said, "Look, we're joining the local rugby league team. Come and join." So I joined, and you just go, "Oh, mate, you get to hang out with your mates." Yeah. You get to
the
run
pressure's
around.
way less as well. Cause it's a team thing.
It's a team thing. Yeah. So, I was going to state for gymnastics, and I was going to state for cross country and 1500 3K long distance.
Oh wow!
In athletics.
Yeah.
But then once I started league, I sort of slowly gave up all those other sports because I loved the camaraderie of the team, being in a team. And I was pretty lucky. 6 years after that, Arthur Beetson come knocking and signed me to the Roosters.
So how did that come about? So did you begin making the state sides for rugby league or anything like that? Or
no, not really. At school, I only made regionals. That was it. Didn't even make state.
Far out.
My brother went state, Australian schoolboy, everything.
So the brother was the gun.
He was the gun.
Wow.
He was the gun.
Crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
And I'll tell you a funny story because when I was getting signed by the Roosters, Alan Gainey and Wayne Beavers come over to sign me up as their management.
Yep.
And my brother was quite cheeky. He goes, "I don't know what you're signing him for. Mate, I'm way better. Sign me as well." And they did as well.
I don't know what you're signing him for.
But what happened was I was just playing at East Valley United in the Green Valley area. And when I was 16, I had a growth spurt. So I really developed some good strength. And I was really quite fast. So a guy come knocking, not at a game, and asked my parents, do you have some tapes of Mini and another boy in our team they wanted as well? My mum goes, yeah, I film every game.
Oh, no way. How good's that? She's got it all marked
Got them
up
all
as
marked,
well.
yeah. So,
3 tries.
Yeah.
2 tries, yes, 3 tries.
Give it a good one, Mum. Give it a good one. Anyway, so we gave this tape to this man. He goes, I'm going to pass this on to Arthur Beetson. He was a recruitment officer at the Roosters.
Yep.
So the funny story was that I got into trouble at school with a mate of mine who was a naughty boy, and we got suspended for 5 days.
Oh, wow.
And we threw some water bombs and accidentally hit a teacher.
Accidentally hit
a teacher. Yeah, so I got anyway. So I actually just before this, I got invited to by Arthur Beetson. Got invited to do a 2-day camp with the Roosters at Narrabeen.
Okay.
So
the Roosters first grade or
no,
just
their younger squad.
Development.
The development. So they invited people from all over New South Wales. And Arthur Beetson come and spoke. We trained, and then we played a game against each other on the next day at Henson Park. Look, I didn't even play that well. I just got in there and had heaps of runs, and I thought I went okay, but nothing special. I didn't hear from them for a few weeks, and in that few weeks, that's when I got suspended. So I remember walking home, and my dad just helped me buy my first car, Ford Laser. And my mum goes, "You wait till your father gets home." And that was always like
that was
you hear
always
his truck pull in and the brakes go on. You go, "Shit, I'm going into my bedroom."
I used to put on multiple pants, like trackies,
so
that when he smacked me, it didn't hurt as much.
That's it. Anyway, so Dad found out I got suspended, and he went off his head, and he's going to sell the car, and you got to do all these chores around the house. So the next day, I'm cutting their ass around the house. And then the following day, Brian Kenevan rings up. He was the football manager at the Roosters, and he said, "We'd like to offer your son a 2-year contract."
Wow!
So it was all happy days. So I'll get the next 4 days off school, and I just laid back, kicked back with a new contract
again. Yeah. Was your dad kind of torn between I'm still angry at you, son, but also
he was. Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, he was a bit torn, and then that's when I started to think, this is it. I'm gonna play for the Roosters.
Yeah.
And both my parents, and especially my dad, goes, well, no.
Yeah.
Because our school, Liverpool Patrician Brothers, finished in year 10. Then you had to move on to Casula, which is called All Saints, which now they're called it's all called All Saints, but All Saints for year 11 and 12. He said, no, you finish year 11 and 12, or you get yourself a trade while you're playing for the Roosters.
Okay.
So I opted to get it. He helped me get a trade. I did cabinet making or shop fitter, detail joiner out at Austral, out a bit further out.
Man, I tell you, shop fitters rip us off. It's too expensive.
I know, that's it. So I did that trade as I was coming up through the lower grades of the Roosters.
Yep. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You got suspended, then got the
contract. I know, yeah. What about that?
Mate, that's fucking just the timing of it all. Okay, so you when you came out of, you would have been 17 in year 11. So you were 17 when you started your trade?
I was, yeah. So 96, I was 16.
Yep.
I signed the end of 96 with the Roosters.
Yep.
And then my first year was 97, and that's when I was turning 17 mid-year.
So did you go straight with the first grade squad, or you were started with
I played, my first year was SG ball, and that was under 18s.
Okay.
So I was 16 turning 17.
Playing that, yep.
And we actually won the comp 13-12 against Newcastle
at
Sydney Oval.
How good's that?
And then they moved me into the 20s.
Yeah, okay.
So I was playing on the bench and then on the wing for the under 20s team.
Yeah.
And we played in another grand final that year, and we lost by 1 point against the Tigers. And that's when I played with Trent Robinson.
Oh, really? So, you played with the guy?
I played with him.
Crazy.
I played with him.
Yeah.
So I had a sort of a really good year that first year. I made New South Wales 18s.
Yeah.
And then the following year, I think Super League was happening.
Yeah, I think it's like 99 or 98 or something around
something
that,
happened. So I trained with the first grade squad when Gus Gould was coach for a bit that pre-season. And then I don't know if it went back to the NRL. Super League was finished or something happened. So I was maybe in line for a little trial match with first grade. But then when the NRL re-emerged, I got put back down to the lower grade. So
okay,
I didn't get a start that year, 98.
Okay.
And then 99, end of 99, that pre-season I went full-time. Yeah.
Went full-time. Is there anything you remember, any like one of the older boys or rocking, you know that feeling when you first rock up and these guys don't seem like humans to you. They just seem like ideas that exist grander than the normal human being. That's what it felt like for me anyway.
I remember like every Monday at 4:00, we would train with first grade, right?
Okay, yep.
So that was at ES Marks Oval. So I would always be rushing to get there because I'm coming in from Austral, finishing work, and I'd always be late. And so what happened was Gus would be having a team meeting upstairs at ES Marks with everyone, and I'd always walk in late.
Yeah.
And then I opened the door like real suspicious.
Yeah.
And he was looking at me. Not get in on all that. But I remember Andrew Walker and Nat Wood was a massive prankster.
Yeah.
Like Brian Fletcher, all these loud guys, Adrian Lamb, Brad Fittler, Rico.
Such a team, bro.
Yeah,
Such
yeah.
a team.
It's just I'm just looking at them and it's like, mate, have a look at these guys. They're legends, So that was a good feeling. Just mixing it up with them every Monday. That was a good sort of thing that the club used to do.
Yeah, introduction.
Yeah,
because there's nothing. My first experience was an army camp, and it was fucking rattled me. I was so rattled, it was crazy. But
that'd have been tough.
It is smart to just that one little session to show, just to introduce you, talk to you, all that kind of stuff. Because you don't want people to be too. A lot of young kids, it's different now. Young kids come in, they start spraying the legend.
No, it's completely different. You're
Whereas a lot of young kids, when I was coming through, especially young kids that might be from New Zealand or Tonga or something, they struggle that first year because they don't know how to talk to anyone. They know how to talk, but they struggle because they're shy. And so even me, I struggled when I was shy. I really struggled to communicate with the older boys. Struggled to show that I really do care about them. I'm just fucking scared. You know what I mean?
That's right. Yeah.
Whereas they think I'm just some little dickhead that doesn't want to involve myself. But I was more along the lines of I didn't want to disrespect anyone. It was all like, whatever you tell me to do, I just do it. I don't want to disrespect anyone that's been here before. But sometimes you look at the young kids, you're like, mate, you got to come out of your shell, come and speak to us or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. And that's why we had Nat Wood was great. I remember Simon Benetti was good. Rico, all these guys, Fletch, they would make a joke out of something and they would hit, bump you up or ask you the question. They'll
bring you into
bring
it.
You in.
Okay.
I felt that straight away when I first started at the club. So that was nice.
Yeah, nuts.
But it is different these days. You're right.
Way
completely different.
Wow. Some of the stories I hear, I'm like, bro, he would literally get kicked out of the squad.
I know. That's right. Yeah, the whole Harden, we had Peter Cusack and all these guys. If a young guy was playing up, he would just, mate, give him a whack and go, mate, get back. Get out of here, or
Corey Parker didn't speak to me for 2 years. He just because I wasn't a first grader, I hadn't earned it, and it was pretty bad at the Broncos. But this was through their they had basically the Australian side, pretty much, or a lot of the people that played for Australia, or whatever. But it was really ruthless. I've spoken about it plenty of times on the podcast, but it was really ruthless. Of you have to earn the right to be considered one of us.
Yeah.
And it could take you years. It could take years. Sean Berrigan. It took me. I was playing.
Tour with Sean.
Yeah, Sean, mate, one of the greatest.
Hilarious.
I've said this story in the podcast before, but I'll just reset it. So I had already been playing first grade for 2 years. Made my debut in 2007. Played 4 games, really good games. 2008, played some really good games. Mid-year, it took for Berrigan to pull me aside at the Normby, which is a nightclub in Brisbane. Great place. Great place. Many a memory there.
Yeah.
And he said, look, you're a bit of a weird cunt, but we like you and respect you because you play good footy.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was my moment that I got accepted into the first grade. So, but I'd been at the club since 2005.
No way.
So it took me fucking 3-4 years. So it is, people it's different now, but back then it took quite a while to get accepted. Okay, so your debut. How did your debut come around?
So what happened was it was the year 2000, right? So that was the Olympic year. So they moved the season to start in February, I think it was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it was an early season start because they needed to be finished
Okay.
Way before October because the Olympics were starting. So what happened was, I think the first 6 rounds, you could have 6 people on the bench because it was so hot.
Oh, really?
You could only use 4 still, but you could choose anyone out of the 6. So always an outside back will get on and get a start. And we had Graham Murray that year. So Graham Murray, I got along with him quite well. And I think it was in about round 4 or 5. He said, mate, you're on the bench. You're in the 6 on the bench. And I went, great. And we were playing the Bulldogs at Allianz Stadium. And I think we got pumped. We're getting pumped. And he throws me on the last 10 minutes and literally just goes like that.
Yeah,
Game's over.
off. Yeah. And so did you get thrown on the wing?
I was on the wing. Yeah.
Oh man, did you even touch the ball?
I don't even think I touched the ball. So I really classed my next game as my debut.
Okay,
That's the one I remember etched in my head, because then he comes to me that wing, goes, mate, I'm going to start you right wing.
Yeah.
We're playing Manly back at Allianz. I went, perfect, can't wait.
Wow.
Anyway, so I remember being in the sheds, and you're looking around, and you've got Freddie, Rico, Fletch, Adrian, Lamb. You've got
Fitzgibbon was there then as well.
Fitzgibbon was there, 100%. He was there. Adrian Morley was there.
Oh wow.
I think we had Peter Cusack was there. Like these hard, not Peter Cusack. Yeah, Peter Cusack was there, but we had Quinton Pongia.
Yep.
Just hard front rowers.
Was Amos Roberts there yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
So I'm looking around. I got quite nervous, and I remember I think it was Adrian Lamb, even Freddie, and just said, Minnie, don't worry, mate. You're here for a reason. Just go out and do your job. That's all you need to do. Just do your job. Have fun.
Yep.
So that was just stuck in my head. And
so relieving to hear that.
Yeah,
from the big
mate,
dogs.
it's great leadership by those boys, you know. And I remember my first touch. We were defending our line, right wing, and they put in a little grubber, and I pick it up in goal, and I run under the post to try and get out. And Jeff Tuvey comes, he comes launching out at me, and I just go whack, and I bump him off and run out.
No way.
Like, just bang, bang, bang. And I remember Adrian Lamb just yelling, yeah, fucking Minnie, just giving me a mad encouragement, and that was it. I stayed in first grade ever since.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you have the same feeling of like, first graders are going to be way stronger? Like they're going to be way stronger. They're going to be faster. Like I didn't, make a break or anything like you, but my first tackle, you get hit, you go to the ground, you're like,
yeah, it's just faster.
Yeah,
it's just everything happens at a bit of faster pace. But sometimes the reserve grade back in those days, that was hard.
They hit hard.
They hit hard. They're rough. They're old hard nuts. They're playing still. Yeah, so it's just a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
So then you realise that, oh man, I can do the same thing as I was doing in reserve grade.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fucking crazy. Actually, that's what I wanted to ask you. I've always wanted to know this. This is like with you, it's always been one question.
Yeah.
When you're under a high ball, as a fellow player watching it, I was always like, bro, he's rattled. He's 100% dropping that.
Yeah.
But you would always catch it.
Yeah.
Did you ever, was high ball ever an issue for you or anything like? Because you would always catch it.
Mate, I did hours and hours of practice.
Yeah, okay.
When I switched to fullback, it was probably almost after every field session, I would just catch high balls, catch. And by the end of my career, I would want someone to kick a high ball to me, mate, instead of a low ball. I'd rather catch a high ball than a low ball. Yeah, I was just like, bomb hit, beautiful. Easy. Because I just did so many repetitions of it.
So did you grow up playing fullback or no, wing?
Centre. I was a right centre.
Wow.
Yeah, so I signed at right centre, and then in reserve grade in 99, I played a bit of centre, bit of wing, and then I made first grade on the right wing.
Yeah, because I always remember, I would watch you and I'd be like, usually if you've got a fullback that's played his whole life, he has that kind of smooth, boom, boom, boom. Whereas, the first few years for you was like...
Yeah.
But you would always catch it. I'm not saying you would catch it.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to know, was that something... And now I do know, you didn't actually play fullback growing up. Yeah. Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, so I worked on it. Worked on it over and over again,
That's, as I said, I would always be like, nah, he's going to drop this one. He's too... You know when you can see a fullback or a winger or whatever? Off the bat, they're rattled. Yeah. That's so you specifically worked really hard to make sure that was a good part of your game.
Yeah. Catching low balls, high balls, low balls was a thing for me. So I always went into a game always confident in my own ability to perform if I had done the work.
Okay.
So, and that means what the coaches ask of you through the week, but then my extras. So it might be some tackling stuff at fullback, but mainly the catching stuff because you're a fullback, you're a catcher.
Absolutely.
So if I didn't do that through the week, then you get a little bit of doubt in your head.
Yeah,
and you don't want that in professional sport because as soon as that happens, that's when mistakes happen.
Yep, absolutely.
So I just honed in on that every day, every week.
I honestly believe in, maybe I'm speaking out of turn here because I fucking didn't play anywhere near as much as you, but I honestly believe a fullback should never drop an unchallenged ball. Yeah. I don't care if it's Joey's torpedo bomb or Lockie. You should never drop. Obviously, it's going to happen. But in my belief, that it is your job to catch any kind of bomb that goes up. If someone's hitting you, or it's a crossfield ball and someone's hitting you, but that's my opinion.
It's a fair call. But you know what? These days, no one does torpedoes anymore.
Yeah, I know.
It's all end over end.
It's so structured, I reckon.
I know. That's what it is. It's all structured because even they put the ball up end over end, so it gives time for the defensive time to set and get down there.
Yep.
And that's all a gameplay.
Into the grind kind of thing.
Get into the grind, set after set. But in early and mid 2000s, it was torpedoes was the in thing. I had Lockyer left foot who swung the other way, which swung down to my left.
He was so good.
Then I had Joey swinging down to the right. Then you do these floaters. So, mate, if you didn't do your catching back then, you're stuffed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because, like, back then, the game plan was give Lockie enough time to just fucking get the ball up.
Yeah, because he had a massive kick on him.
Bruh, his left foot was huge.
Oh.
So good.
Yeah.
That's really interesting to hear, because I always wondered, like, did that uncomfortableness, and again, you might not have felt it, but it just seemed like it. And then by the end of your career, obviously, so you weren't a fullback. So you make your debut on the wing. When did you get moved? And then you play a grand final 2 years later. So you played 2 years on the wing before you...
3 years. I did 2000, 2001, 2002. So 2000, we played the great team, the Broncos.
Yeah. What was that like, that grand final?
Well, mate, we had 94,000.
Wow.
We had the wings on for Stadium Australia for the Olympics.
Wow.
So that was the biggest crowd ever.
Yeah,
almost in
I think
Australia.
the record is 105,000.
That's right.
But it was the Steelers versus who was it? Anyway, I think it was Luke Patton. It was the Steelers, and it's when the Illawarra Steelers and Dragons merged.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know who they they played against, but that was the record or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know where it was at, but 96,000. That's
so 96,000. Yeah, it was unreal,
massive,
right?
Massive.
And we're playing like Brad Thorne, in their heyday. Lockyer, Takiri, Sailor, Webke.
Was Tunza there yet? Tony Carroll,
Gordon Tallis.
Oh yes,
mate, their team was all time.
That's the best Broncos
It
side
was
of all time.
all time, right?
So was Alfie still there?
No,
he just retired.
No, maybe he was over in England still.
Okay, and so Walters Walters retired.
Yep. Who was the halves?
I was going to say, who was there?
Lockyer was fullback. We should look that up in 2000. Mate, that team was all time. You know, in 2000, the game was unlimited interchange.
Oh,
can you that is a joke? Like, we didn't think anything of it. It was just what we did.
Yeah.
But now looking back at it, going unlimited interchange. You know, Wayne Bennett made about 63 interchanges.
In that one game?
Yep, we made like 23.
So he just
turned it over, turn the forwards.
Wow.
And mate, we lost 14-8. We were in the game, but they were just red hot team.
So Kevin Walters.
It was Kevin.
And Benny Eichen.
Oh, Benny Eichen, yeah.
So this is their back line. Kevin Walters, Ben Eichen, Wendell Sailor, Michael DeVere, Tony Carroll at centre. Wow. Lottie Takiri, Darren Lockery at fullback.
Yep.
Their forward pack, their hooker is Luke Prittis, then the forward pack is Dane Carlow, Gordon Tallis, Brad Thorne, Kevin Campion, Sean Berrigan, Ashley Harrison, Michael Hancock, Harvey Howard. Hancock off the bench.
Off the bench.
And then your team was Wingy, Craig Wing, he's the GOAT bloke to me.
Yeah.
He's the best looking player to ever play the game.
100%.
Easily. So the bench for Roosters was Craig Wing, Shane Rigon, Dallas Hood, Dave Solomona. And then the forward started with Luke Ricketson, Craig Fitzgibbon, Brian Fletcher, Peter Cusack, Simon Benetti, Ian Rubin, Lamb,
great man,
Brad Fittler, Anthony Minichiello, Ryan Cross, Shannon Hegarty, Matt Singh, Luke Phillips.
Yeah.
We just had, you look at those two sides.
Luke Phillips saved about 4 tries on us that day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He brought down Wendell Sailor a couple of times in the open. I just couldn't believe it.
Mate,
so
if you
we
had
hung
beaten
in
that
there.
side,
I know.
That would have been pretty hectic. Like, don't get me wrong, you got some incredible...
They were red hot. The Broncos were red hot that year. So that was my first year. And then 2001, I made the City Origin team. I played on the wing. 2002, Ricky Stewart comes to the club.
Yep.
And we have a huge preseason. We're fit. And we have a late run. We win 9 straight to win the premiership, and we beat the Warriors.
Yep.
And Luke Phillips had shoulder problem. He had about 12 needles that game. And after the game, he goes, "I'm done. I'm retired." And
after the grand final?
After the grand final.
Win?
After the win, yeah.
Okay, yep.
2002.
So walk us through the win. Like, walk us through that game.
Mate. Unbelievable, obviously.
Yeah.
I was young. I was 22. It was just party time.
Mate, were you living in Bondi?
Was I 22? I think I was living with Rico at the time, I think, in Clovelly. So, yeah, I was in the area. It was just on for 6 weeks, on for young and old.
Yep.
So after the game, he retires, and everyone's like, "What are you doing? You're only 28, 29."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh no, I'm 34. I've been lying about my age for years."
Yeah. So Luke Phillips was lying to everyone at his age.
Everyone. It was all time.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So he retires, and then pre-season, leading into our World Club Challenge, travel to England. We had Justin Hodges in the side now.
Hodjo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And Ricky comes to me and he goes, "Mate, I'm thinking, what do you think about playing fullback?" I'm like, "Yeah, 100%. I want to get involved
Get
more.
the ball
I'm
more.
fit. I want to,
You know.
get the ball." He goes, "I'm thinking about you or possibly Justin Hodges because he's played there before." And I was like, "Mate, give me first crack."
Wow.
Anyway, so my first game,
moment.
I know, because this
Changed everything.
This changed everything. This is what elevated my career to the next level.
Absolutely.
You know? And my first fullback game was over in England, freezing cold in World Club Challenge against St Helens.
Yeah. So
And we dusted them 38-0. And that was it.
Oh really?
Yeah.
And so then from then on you stayed at fullback.
Stayed at fullback. And I got selected at fullback for City Origin, New South Wales Origin, and Australia, but I was on the wing.
Yeah.
But my first Anzac, I got selected in the Anzac Day test. Lockyer pulls out, and I played fullback.
No
in my first
way.
ever test.
That's crazy. So that was your first year of fullback ever.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you went in to play for your state, your country.
Yeah.
And that's
Unbelievable.
incredible. That's incredible. So, so the 2002 grand final though, do you remember anything from that? Who was that against? Sorry, Doggies, was it?
No, it was against the Warriors.
Warriors. Do you
Yeah.
remember anything from that grand final?
So, that year, we changed the defence. Remember that we had that rushing defence?
Yeah.
Because we got so fit. Like, we'll do the beep test, and every single player would get 14. Front rowers,
Wow.
bench players.
That's crazy.
And Ricky used to stop it at 14 for us. You get the 14, you're
That's
done.
good enough. Yeah.
Like Peter Cusack and all these front rowers are getting 14.
That's crazy.
So you had this defensive structure where as soon as they play the ball, we're up in their face.
Yep.
And we had this rushing defence, and we would just bamboozle teams, make mistakes out of them. And in the grand final, the Warriors took it to us. I think Stacey Jones scored a try just before half time, and they went in front 12-6 at half time.
Yeah.
But we just stuck to our guns and kept. Actually, that's when Villasani knocked Freddie out, and he had that split.
Oh, no
busted
way.
his eye, and that's when Adrian Morley come in, and it was, mate. You're getting it, Villasani. You're getting it.
Yeah.
And then I think
So did Fittler stayed on? Did he?
Yeah, Fittler stayed on.
Yeah,
Just got
okay.
his head taped up.
Yeah.
And Villasani come off a cross play, and Morley just went whack. And then everyone burred up.
Yeah.
Freddie kicks a 40-20, and
Yep.
then we just went bang, try, and we win by 20 points.
Wow.
It was unbelievable.
What's crazy to think is that if it was a dog shot, I'm not sure if it was, but the hit on Freddie Fittler actually worked against the Warriors.
It did.
Because
It sparked us. Yeah.
Exactly. Whereas if Morley doesn't arc up,
Yeah.
they might just roll over you, or it just becomes a grind or
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh, Morley was all time to play with.
Wow. Was he one of the most aggressive players you ever played with?
Yeah. Mate, I always tell a story too because, Matt, he's one of the nicest blokes that you'll
Really?
ever meet.
Wow.
Like, he come to us in pre-season in 99 from England and just lovely bloke, loves a beer, loves a good time. He'll buy you a beer, do this. And even in tackling practice or wrestling practice, he would just cuddle you and put you down on the
Really?
ground.
Gentleman's
Everyone's
agreement.
Like, this guy's, it was just, and it was like, are you sure this guy's the man? Like, everyone's like, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you get in before a game, and just before he runs out that white stripe, his eyes are flickering, and he's like ready to kill someone. And then Ricky Stewart started to wind him up a bit.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he turned into the most feared player ever. Like, he would swing his arm that hard. He had big, thick arms on him. Didn't even tackle with his shoulder. And mate, you see him in the line, you go, I'm going.
Going the other way.
Yeah.
So Ricky Stewart would purposely rile him up,
Oh,
knowing what
100%.
he
100%. Like,
Did you know anything he would say to him, or he would just say like, "Oh,
I
they're
think
fuckers"?
one time we played the Dogs, and Ricky was off Corey Hughes, and he goes, "That effing Corey Hughes does anything, you fucking get into him." And then he had a quiet word to Moz as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Corey Hughes I think he was playing the ball, and he did something to the marker, and Morley come in and just a flying knee. And this is the opening minutes of the game, and Morley, you're off. Sent off, and just wound him up too much.
Yeah.
But he was unbelievable. Like, he was unreal to play.
Well, I
with.
mean, again, I didn't see much of his footy, but his name still kind of like permeates through rugby league as being a crazy enforcer.
Yeah.
You've got to be a crazy enforcer to be, the tippity top of other crazy enforcers.
That's
you know?
right. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. That one play, Villasanti hits Freddie Fittler, Morley goes off, boom, try.
It was unbelievable.
How good's that?
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Okay, so the 2003 season, you make your Origin debut, and so how did that phone call come about, and how did it all?
What happened was it was Brian Kenevan again. Gave me a call, and I was sort of in the City Origin game prior. It was myself and David Peachy.
The Peach?
The Peach was the opposite fullback. And remember 2002 was that played for the Blues at fullback was Hodjo.
Oh, yeah, Brett Hodgson.
And
the guy, Gordon Taylor.
Gordon Taylor.
He's the most unlucky bloke in history.
I know, he's a great guy, great player too.
Yeah,
I really rated him, yeah.
His debut was actually one of the best debuts,
in
meters-wise. He killed it.
100%. So I think they were looking for a new fullback, and I didn't even play that well in the City Origin game. It was just a solid game, but I was sort of going well in clubland, and just get the phone call from Brian Kenevan, and he goes, "Mate, you've been selected in the Blues team." I said, "Oh, mate, that's great."
Yeah, how good's that?
Yeah, what position? And I was happy to take anything. He goes, "Mate, you're at fullback." Because I thought I was going to get picked on the wing, get blooded, and you're at fullback. And I went, "That is unbelievable." And I'm coming in the camp. We've got Joey Johns, we've got Denny Badiris, Jason Riles, Mark Gasnier, and we had a few players, Wingy and Rico and Fitzy, and so I felt comfortable.
Yeah,
and the bond
was this the year that Fittler retired from refereeing?
Fittler has been already retired. Yep, he come back in 04 when we played there. So, and back then, you come into camp Sunday night, you don't have to play till Wednesday week, right? So
Wednesday,
it was like Sunday, Monday, and even Tuesday was on the drink. So Joey Johns just led the charge, I was like, hey, good's this? And, Steve Simpson, the Newcastle boys leading the charge. And like the bond that we've got now is phenomenal, all great mates.
Yeah.
And I remember it was the opening of Suncorp Stadium. 2003.
No way.
So that was my first game up there, right?
Mate.
And I remember I probably was the most nervous I've been in any game. I did the work. I knew I've done the work, but this is Origin, this is a different kettle of fish.
And that the cauldron, bro.
In Queensland, And I remember starting the game, and I started quite nervous. There was a couple of big bombs that come to me, and I bounced off my chest backwards. Dropped two, but they went backwards.
Yeah, thank
God. So I picked it up and just ran back in the line. Yeah. So I started nervous.
Yeah.
And then I just settled in, and I think I ran for like 200 metres, and I scored 2 tries off Joey Johns.
No way. Origin debut.
Debut, yeah. So it was a huge debut for me.
Do you remember your tries off Joey, or one of them?
Yeah. So it was literally the first try. It was Joey. It was lost like I was at 5'8". Joey from halfback just passed it to me, and I just come off my left foot and wrong-footed Ben Eichen and went straight through under the post for a try. And then the next one, again off Joey, it was just a simple block play, but Joey just held it up nicely and then bang, gave me the overlap. I dummy and scored it through and scored the try. So I was like, hey, good's this? I'm just hanging off Joey all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's when our combination really...
Yep.
In every Origin game that Joey played, it was just him and I. Yep, Mini, tackle 4, tackle 3. Let's work these over. He was a freak. He was always thinking ahead.
Yeah.
He goes, I need you on tackle 4, Min. Yep, sweet. And he'll work over the same player. Same player. Get him tied. Have me inside. Have someone outside. So our combination was awesome.
Mate, as a Queenslander, it was terrible. But it was incredible. And I think just like no one to this day, I don't think, understands footy as deeply as Joey on the field.
100%.
I don't think there's anyone that ever has felt the game as strongly as he does. Don't get me wrong, there's been some,
100% there's been great people, but you know what Joey does? Under pressure, when everything's moving at quick pace, that's when people fall apart.
Yeah, absolutely.
Joey could still hold his composure and still know how to break people down under that pressure. Yeah. That's what he had over most players. He was a freak.
Yeah. Even his 2005 game, I still think that's the greatest Origin game of all time.
I roomed with him that year.
You roomed with him?
Yeah.
Well, all right. Is there any inside information?
So obviously that game 1 was up in Queensland. It was an epic game, right? Where Kamali was our halfback, and we were down 18-0 at halftime. Ricky Stewart coach, and he didn't even go off at us. He just said a pretty calm speech, and we come out and we went bang, 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 try, 18-all, right? I think they kick a field goal first, 19-18. We kick one back at 19-all. It's in extra time, game 1. And Kamali throws an intercept pass to Matty Bowen.
I was on the sideline as that happened. So I was in the under-19s the under-19s
Yeah.
Queensland side. So they had a city on the sideline. I
Yeah.
literally saw it happen.
Yeah. Oh, mate, it was all-time game.
Yeah.
Anyway, Joey Johns has just come back from a
Broken leg.
broken leg, or ACL, broken leg, whatever it was.
something
Anyway,
massive.
so Ricky drops Kamali and he brings Joey in to game 2.
Yeah.
This is at ANZ Stadium now. And I remember him coming into camp, and we were training at East Rugby Club down in Wallara, and there was just like a calmness over the side straight away.
Wow.
Joey comes in and he just started calling the shots. Yeah, get to this point over there, go, bang, 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 bang. And we trained unbelievable.
Wow.
Anyway, I'm rooming with Joey now, so we had a good couple of days in camp as he again leads the charge. But I remember when we moved out to Homebush, and it was just, I was making Joey a cup of tea. He loves tea, so we had a cup of tea together, and we're just talking like, "This is what we want to do. We want to break them down here. Bang, bang, bang." Then he said to me, "I want to do this kick. All right, I'm going to just kick into the corner. Billy Slater was at fullback. Kick to the corner, and then I'm going to go whack, try and kick back at the post. When the time's right, I want you to be through the middle." I was like, 100%.
Yeah.
Anyway, that game day, obviously the paper's all over the Blues, and then you open up the double page spread, and there's all Joey's kicks, what he could do. Bang, bang, bang. And there's this kick that they said, bang, it's a post. During the game, the first half, it was only tackle 3 or 4, and there was a half gap on the inside, and I just go, I call for it.
Yeah.
He kicks it. He does that kick. Hits the post. And I come swooping in and dive on it and try. Mate, it was unbelievable. He was talking about that a day earlier.
And then he executed it.
Under pressure.
Perfectly.
Yeah. It was ridiculous.
To hit the post. I don't understand how hard that is.
We were 40 metres out. Like, it
out.
was a 40-metre kick.
That's incredible. That to me, again, is the best Origin game of all time.
Yeah.
I think Munsters was close this year, but I still think that...
he was special this year.
I still think that Joey, coming back from... probably was the ACL. Also coming back from the ACL to do that... it's just incredible.
And then we had to go up to Queensland for the decider.
Yeah.
And that's I only got told this stat last year because we still haven't won a decider up there since 2005.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's because I got some phone calls from some reporters and saying, it's a decider up in Queensland tonight.
Yeah.
The last decider you guys won was when you played in 2005. And when you're joking.
Way.
So
that's crazy,
unbelievable. Yeah,
and it took. So was Joey obviously played that game as well. He didn't.
Yeah. All under the pump early, and we defended for 6-7 sets, and then we just sort of was a tight first half, and we went on and won comfortable in the end.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it kind of it makes sense. Like you've got players like yourself, you've got Joey. Like, been some great players since then, but you guys really were. You were just tight, such a, that was a strong core players, but also your talent was just so fucking good. I always wonder, like, if we could take your best New South Wales side against, the 2008 or 10 or whatever Queensland side, how would that go?
What about that game? That'll be all time,
mate. That would be so good. Could you imagine that? Yeah, it would just be fucking so hectic. Okay, so what's been your favourite Origin series? Is that probably one of your favourite ones? Or
well, yeah. Look, 05. I probably hold that as one of my favourites, just because that year I ended up winning the Wally Lewis medal after Game 3 as well, so that was pretty special.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Like my first game 03 opening a Suncorp, I'll never forget it. That was a great series.
Yeah,
we won the first 2 games and wrapped it up.
Yeah,
but 05. Losing the first game and then winning the last 2 in the decider up there, and then winning the Wally Lewis, I will have to say that's my favourite for sure.
It's etched in history. Like there's no reasonable Queenslander can't say that the Joey and yourself and the magic that you had in that series. I think it's in folklore. It's one of the really special parts of Origin. Okay, so what year did you win the Golden Boot? It was 2008?
Five.
Sorry.
Yeah,
same year. So this is
this is what I'm saying. This is my best individual year ever.
Yeah.
But I had all these underlying issues that we just spoke about.
Okay.
But I was
so focused,
powering ahead. Yeah.
So the call to debut for Australia, were you expect? Oh, so Darren Lockyer got named.
Yeah. So this is 03 again.
Yep.
Darren Lockyer got named. I got named on the wing.
Yeah.
And we were playing at Allianz, the one-off test, and Lockyer had an ankle injury.
Yep.
And Chris Anderson, coach, and he goes, "Mate, you're playing fullback." And that was my debut. And I remember just sitting there lined up, national anthem. It's just a proud moment, family watching on and all that type of stuff. And you're just like, you're wearing the green and gold, the best of the best. Like, how good is this?
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember after the game, Darren Lockheed come and gave me his number 1 jersey because I played in number 5.
Yeah.
But he gave me that number 1 jersey. And
How good's
that's
that?
for you.
Wow.
You know? Yeah, and that was the only time I played with Gordon Tallis as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because that year he pulled out of the tour at the end of the year. So it was Joey, and Joey pulled out at the end of the year as well.
Yeah.
So that was the only time I played with Joey in the Australian team as well.
So at this point, that's 2003. So the next two, but basically your career went grand final first year of NRL.
Yep.
Grand final win 2002.
Yep.
You made the grand final against Penrith.
Yep.
Can you walk us through?
And made a grand final a year after too.
Oh, really?
Against the Dogs.
The Doggies. And the Doggies won, because they had some. Yeah. So 2003, though, that's the Travis Burns, Scott Sattler tackle.
100%.
Can you tell us about that? Because you would have been fullback, correct?
I was fullback, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had Todd Byrne on the left wing, Chris Walker, who's a massive speedster on the right wing.
Yeah, loves the chat too.
Yeah, loves it. So, look, we were favoured to win that that game. And we were on fire all year, But we had this rivalry bubbling along, obviously with the Bulldogs, because they thought they should have won in 2002, but they got demoted from first. They won 19 straight, or
and they got stripped
of all their points. So we had a huge rivalry against the Dogs, and then a Penrith one was developing with Joel Clinton and Morley and all these forwards having a crack. So prelim to get into the grand final. 2003, we played the Dogs.
Yeah.
Huge game.
Wow.
Huge. I don't think I've ever been more pumped up before a game ever, when Freddie just had the room humming, right?
Yeah.
He was yelling and screaming, we either put up or shut up, because they kept saying that we should have won the comp and you guys don't deserve it. And we had this rivalry started, right? And we had epic games through the year with them. And we come out and we pumped them by 30. It was at our home ground, and we just sent them packing. It was like one of the best games ever.
Yeah.
And we probably played our grand final a week early. We were just so pumped about it.
Yeah.
And we get into the game, and it's drizzling that morning of grand final day, and it was a tight game. They were on, Penrith were on, but we just couldn't find our groove.
Yeah.
But and then Todd Byrne break, and he went for it. You can't blame him.
No way.
He went for it. It was slippery. He made the decision to do it, and obviously it didn't come off. But there was so many other things in the game.
100%.
So many other things in that game.
I think it's more just the tackle than the run.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and then that's what they show all the time. But there were so many other things that we could have played better, and we could have had opportunities to score a try, and we didn't in out the game. But that's what the footage always goes back to Toddy.
Back to that one.
Sadly for Toddy, but he's such a great guy.
He was a good winger too. He was a good winger.
He was 100%.
Yeah,
mate, solid winger, unreal. So we were a bit off, we were a bit tired, and they got us. They beat us fair and square that night.
It's funny because I feel like nowadays we would be aware of, if you have a big game, it takes a little bit longer than 7 days to recover from that game.
Big time.
Whereas back then it's like, mate, that was last week. Like, what are you talking about?
We were on the drink after that game.
No way.
After we beat the Bulldogs.
Yeah,
we were on the drink all night. I'm thinking about, what are we thinking?
Yeah.
Just pull it in for a week.
Yeah, just 1 week.
That didn't happen back then.
Everything just like in flames. You're on the piss. You're drinking bad. You're eating bad as well.
Yeah, it's just silly.
And so 2004 you make the finals again, but then you run again. Then it's the rematch.
Then it's the Dogs, right?
Yeah, okay.
So again, we sort of limped into the final because we just beat the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So we were on a slight flattening out curve, and then about to go down.
Yep.
Because we had year after year of training our ass off, like harder, faster. Tried to rushing defence for 3 years. Everyone was playing rep footy, going on tours.
Absolutely.
We were at the end of our tether, right?
And so it was 2004. So this is Fittler's last
year.
Yeah.
Fittler's last year. He's in a grand final. Do it for Freddie, and we started the game again on fire. I score a try. We had Anthony Tupu, great offload to me.
He was such a good player.
Mate, freak. Loved him.
Bumped so
great
many
offload.
blokes.
Oh, so powerful.
Yeah.
And then I score another try, which gets disallowed.
Yeah.
So we go into our break 13-6 up. It could have been 19-6, maybe game over back then. But,
Was it a try?
Well, they called a shepherd. So it was like a block play, but I haven't even watched it.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know if I caught it inside the player or whatnot.
Yeah, okay. Technicality.
Yeah. But we come out in the second half and we didn't score a point. You know, we sort of tried to protect our lead where we didn't play footy, and we lost 16-13 by 3 points, and we had a chance with the dying seconds, and it just didn't. It all broke down. We dropped the ball, so we ended up losing that game by 3 points, and that was 2 grand finals in a row.
Yep. Far out.
Yeah.
That's got a sting.
It did.
And then 2006 is when you did your back.
Yeah, so then 2005 as a club, we didn't even make the semis. Because remember, we were on the decline, but I still
was doing well.
I still was doing well, and on another tour again. So then that's when the decline happened in 2006.
In 2006, so it's you probably don't remember this, but the toughest, as in physically, the best game I ever played in was Melbourne Storm in the game after this game. But the toughest game I ever played against was actually against you guys in the semis, 2008. And you guys came out and were like crazed madmen. O'Mealy, Mason, psychos.
I remember that game. Well, mate, it was brutal. It was brutal. The hits, and then we you guys beat us, and we had to travel to Auckland, and we got dusted. So we went out in straight sets.
Oh wow!
So I just come back.
Yeah.
So this is my neck injury year.
Oh shit!
And I had to play a game in reserve grade. Then I played the last round 26. I still had nerve pain in my arm, but I knew that we were playing in the semi-final series, so I'm playing.
Yeah.
And then we played round 26, and we played you guys first round, I think.
Yeah.
And it was brutal. Physicality was unbelievable.
The most physical game I ever played. I remember we ran in, and you could see everyone was kind of like the boys were looking at each other going, fuck, like, what's going on? Like, because you like belted K.
Yeah.
Like, you just belted all of us, but we also were so confident with our
you
squad.
hung in there, yeah.
We're just like, we'll turn it around.
Yeah.
Like, we got Hodjo, K, Lockie, like, we'll turn it around. I think Tunza was still playing. Yeah. Like, we just had such a fucking good side.
Yeah, you did.
But that was brutal, that game. Then we played Storm, and we were dominating them.
Yeah.
It was easier than the game week before.
Yeah.
And then the last minute, we dropped the ball. They score.
They're unbelievable.
We would have won. I reckon it would have been us first in the finals. But
yeah.
Well, could have, should have, could have, should have.
Could have, should have, would have.
Okay, so the injury with your back that year, and then so basically we've spoken about the years where you were trying to come back from injury, but then in 2012 you come. So 2010, sorry, when you
we
start
made the grand
back.
final that year. Yeah.
So you come back, and that's when Todd Carney also came to the club.
Correct.
And he said to me that you actually helped him quite a bit with the fullback role.
Yeah. So what happened was when I was, I've been out for 4 years.
Yeah.
Brian Smith was coach, and he put me back on to the left wing actually this time, and he put Todd Carney at fullback. And Todd Carney's a natural ball player, 5'8". So I did a bit of work with Toddy, and he played, I think, for the first maybe 6 to 8 games at fullback.
Yep.
And Braith was at 5'8". And he was playing well. He was still playing well, but we were doing win-loss.
Okay.
We didn't find our groove.
It was like the spine just didn't seem to...
Yeah, it wasn't clicking that well. And so Brian Smith made the switch. I think he put Braith to lock, and he put Toddy back to 5'8", and he put me back to fullback.
Yep.
And then we started to... Obviously, we had new structures. We had Brian Smith's completely new structure. So, it was always going to take time no matter what positions we were playing. So we started to find our groove a bit and started to really relate to how Brian was coaching, and just think things started to pick up. And we had this run late in the year. Yeah. And we played the prelim up at Suncorp, and I played my brother, the Titans.
Oh, okay, really?
So the Titans had
that
a
would have
good
been
year
like the last time they've made the finals.
It was, yeah. So it was probably the last time they made it, you're right.
Yeah.
And they had a great year that year.
Yep.
And I remember my dad my mum cut two polos up, and one Titans, one Roosters, and she sewed it together. My dad wore that.
Yeah.
It's quite funny.
Yeah, good.
And we were good that night. We dusted them and played.
Faced the Dragons.
Faced the Dragons, and we had a great first half, right?
Yeah.
And we were up 12-6 or whatever it was. And then we just fell apart.
Yep.
Rain come tumbling down. It was like a nightmare just come over. Clouds, rain tumbling down. We'd lose by 20. That was it. Over.
Suited their suits. They were so defensive oriented.
They were.
And so structured. That would suit
them. That was
them.
so structured. Yeah.
That 2010, like the Dragon side, it was almost like it was destiny. Like they had to. They just had to win.
You're right.
Okay, so 2000. So you continue obviously to play, but getting back into that Origin side, which was
11. Yeah, that was 11.
Did that mean a lot to you personally? Like to be able
that was huge. Because what happened was, 2007. 2007 when I got back into the side. I was with Terry, and she's fiery, Italian, passionate, and game one was in Queensland. I said, I don't think you should come to Queensland because she's already had a few arguments at some other stadiums. And it was quite funny. I said, look, just wait for game two. Don't come up. And it was probably one decision I regretted now looking back at it, because what happened was I played game one, we lose, but camp for game two, and that's when my back breaks down.
Wow.
And I had to pull out of that game.
Okay, so she didn't get to see.
She didn't even get to watch Origin live.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and Ricky Stewart calls me back into the side for game two of 2011, which was at ANZ Stadium. And I remember all the family were there, Terry was there, and it was an epic game. It went down to the wire. And we had a scrum feed near the try line. Jamie Soward gets out, runs it, offloads to me, bang, straight through, and I score the winning try. Yeah. It was an amazing feeling. It was just like some good satisfaction, and my wife was there, everyone was there. It was amazing.
To go from, it wasn't just like you had one bad injury or two. It's like years of just like, what is happening? I need to fix my body. It's just
like your satisfaction that all the hard work has paid off, and what you're doing is the right thing. Like the way you treat your body now is the right way of going about it.
When you were playing, did you, and this is just off my knowledge, did you know that you had a very unique style of as a fullback? Like you, to me anyway, I could be totally wrong because I don't know about the 80s and 90s or whatever, but you were kind of one of the first fullbacks that was like a ton of hit-ups, over 200 metres, heaps of tackle breaks. Were you aware of that, or you just enjoyed the way you played?
No, I just enjoyed the way I played. I always felt that I could break a tackle, any tackle really. That's the confidence I had, But that we talked about gymnastics. That's what gymnastics gave me. It gave me that really power off the mark, speed, the body awareness, the twist and turn, land on your front.
It's like strength in weird positions.
Yeah, I was always push dominant too. Like bench press. I'm benching 150 kilo back then. It was like I was always push strong.
And just for people that are listening, that means like. Pull strong is in...
Pulling is like chin-ups.
Chin-ups, all that kind of
something
stuff.
that you're pulling towards you.
Which is not really much you do in rugby league.
Away, so I was really strong in that area, pushing. So I always felt that I could break a tackle at any time. And that was, combination with fitness. I was always naturally fit. Gymnastics training and pushing... my weights programs up was a perfect combination when I was young, you know what I mean? So I always felt that I had that power base.
And we see a guy like Tedesco now and Roger as well. Tedesco is probably a little bit more similar to the way you play. But is that what you kind of imparted onto those two guys?
No, not really, because everyone has their own game, right? Everyone has their own style. You can't say play like this. You got to play in your own style. What I did with those guys was basically defensive organisation structures.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because when Robbo come to the club, but back when I switched to fullback, it was all about attack. And in defence, you can have a Siggy back there and
doing whatever.
That's who's kicking now? Tackle 4, but now it's completely different. You're organising the defensive line, like the 3 man in the tackle. That third man, we don't want him to think. All we need him to do is look at the fullback, and you're pointing him left, you right. But when that from far away, it's still pretty cruisy, but when you get down the goal line defence, it is split-second decisions that you're making on the whole team. And you got to pull them there, and try and give the best defensive line for nullify their attack, and it becomes really fast.
Yeah.
So Robbo put massive emphasis on defensive organisation. He goes, mate, you're the fullback. This is your defensive line.
Yep.
And we want zeros. That was our goal.
Okay.
In a game, we want no tries.
Yep.
That was 2013, and we had a record year that year. We had 6 zeros. It was massive.
Wow.
So I became pretty good at it. It was an extra added pressure for me, and I liked pressure. So I took that on board. Yeah. And Robbo and I worked together all the time on that, and I had game planning on other teams and what defensive structures they use, and we'll definitely game plan against that.
Wow.
If they put all their eggs in one basket over there, then I'm pushing most of my team over there, and I'll hug over here.
Yeah.
And when the hooker looks up, he sees, 3 3 players here, but really it's 2 and 8 instead of 3 and 7.
Yeah, okay.
All that comes into it.
And like indicators, like if GI is going to the left, they're going to the left.
That's right.
Yeah.
All those indicators, Thurston, and they're all over there, and all that type of stuff. So, we did some video analysis on that when Roger moved the fullback, and then when Teddy moved the fullback. But Teddy, to be honest, he picked it up really quickly.
Oh, really well.
Really quickly, yeah.
Yeah, so he kind of, I mean, look how good he is. Like, obviously he's naturally gifted, but I guess, like these guys don't get, like yourself, you don't get to where you got without either naturally gifted, but also extreme amounts of hard work,
Exactly. Persistence and hard work over and over again. Repetition, all that type of stuff.
So 2013 grand final, that would have been, I'm not sure if it was bigger, like for you personally, but like the journey to go from, not only have you lost grand finals, but you shouldn't have been playing footy pretty much. Like if you kept down the conventional route. Did that mean a lot?
It was definitely my most favourite achievement, without doubt.
Wow.
Without doubt, leading into that grand final, that was my 6th grand final, going into my 6th grand final, and they were saying, if Mini loses this one, he's lost, he's lost 5 grand finals. They're all thinking about the negative, right?
Yeah, not the positive. Glass half full, boys. Glass half full.
Which all reporters do sometimes. But I thought that was a funny stat. But through the year, at the start of the year when Robbo come to us, he said, he challenged us. He goes, you guys aren't full-time professionals. You're part-timers. He goes, you guys aren't even second half. You guys aren't even a second half team. You guys fold away in the second half.
Wow.
We want to develop a work ethic around being a second half team. So we get better in the second half when teams get worse.
Okay.
And we trained all preseason. Better in the second half. Better. We even had half times at training, and we got better in the second. It was all our whole thinking and mentality.
Wow.
He put that in our heads day 1 of preseason, right?
Yeah.
And then we did the food stuff. We started developing professionalism away from the sport.
Yeah.
So he made us more well-rounded professionally. And then we were in pre-season, and we went on a camp, and you do the hard work, and then you do the, we did trademarking and what we want to stand for, and what team has really belted us the last couple of years. And one guy put his hand out and goes, it's always Manly. We've been belted by them by 50 at their ground a couple of times, and they were physical back then.
Absolutely,
the
Glenn
Stewart brothers and all those guys, Maddie, Watmo, and we went, well, bang, Manly's our team.
Yeah, wow.
And we had that at the start of the year, and we played Manly 5 times that year. It was
5 times
trial match.
Okay.
2 in the season.
Yeah.
First semi-final, grand final.
No way.
So I'll take you through it. We won all of them.
No way.
It was unbelievable. But we put it in our own heads that year.
Guys. Yeah.
Anyway, so it was always a brutal game. I'll talk you through the first semi-final.
Yeah.
The scoreline was 4-0.
4-0.
We won 4-0.
Yuck, but also cool.
It was brutal. The physicality of it was like that Broncos game. It was exactly like that. It was just hit after hit.
Yeah.
But the game had everything. Had line breaks, but it was just our defensive structures. And
both of us were so
both
desperate.
Both of us were just on.
Yeah.
And ended up 4-0.
Wow.
And we were sitting in the change rooms, and we're just like, that was unbelievable.
Yeah.
So we needed that week off.
Yeah.
And then we come up against them in the grand final again.
No.
So
what are the chances?
And remember, Robbo said, you're not a second half team.
Yeah.
He challenged us. We want to be a second half team. We went all preseason, all year saying, this is where we get better, second half. We had a call, even with 15 minutes to go.
Yep.
And then we find ourselves in the grand final, in the second half, and we're down by 10 points.
Wow.
Maddie scores that try, and there's a few people panicking behind the line.
Yeah.
And I remember just saying, boys, settle down. Just take a breath. Don't say a word. Take a breath. If you think about it, what have we trained our whole year on? We're trained the whole year on being a second half team.
Yep.
Don't worry about, just do your job, do no one else's, do your own job. That's it. And then Pearcey, bang, to Guerra. Who was it? Maloney to me, which everyone thinks is a full pass. And I just looped this ball over the Sean Kenny Dow, who had a broken jaw at the time.
Yeah.
And then the Superman try by our centre, what's his name?
Jennings.
Jennings. And we won 26-18. It was unbelievable.
Wow.
We had Sonny Bill in the team, and all those players, and just holding up that trophy was huge.
What
Huge. My wife was fully pregnant as well. The year was unbelievable. 13 was one of the best years ever.
Mate, to think Trent Robinson had the wherewithal, he's looked at the tape, He's studied you guys, and he said, "Use Arna seconds." And
then we had to pull that out.
Yeah.
In grand final day, but we spoke about it a year earlier. Like,
Yeah.
it was phenomenal how everything works out.
Mate, I honestly, I consider, like, my coaches are, again, obviously, don't know what happened in the 80s, whatever. My coaches are Wayne Bennett-Segoda. I know I'm biased because I was under him.
He's all time.
Craig Bellamy
Yep.
is very close to surpassing him.
Yeah.
And then there's Trent Robinson. I think he's in the same conversation as those two people. And I think the likelihood that he will most likely end up the GOAT just because, if he wants to continue, because he's so young still.
Yeah, that's right. He's young. He's Robbo. He's young.
He's like 45 or 7 or some shit like that.
45, yeah. Something like that, yeah.
So it's, I consider those three like really, cream of the crop. Some of the stuff I see with Robinson, the way you can see you guys tearing team apart. Do you know what I mean? Same with Melbourne Storm. You can see, like, for example, grand final. What do? Give Cleary no time to kick, and
that's
then
it.
Everything else gets fucked up after that.
It was a masterclass in the first half by
Mate,
Melbourne last year.
So 2013, you win the grand. Okay, so the time to retire though, like you break the club record in your last game. So, but didn't Orbo just equal it or something like
last
that?
Year. No, he beat it last year.
He beat it last year.
So yeah. So after we won the comp, everyone's like, "Mate, you should retire.
Yeah, 13.
Go out in the high."
Yeah.
And I was like, "You know what? I don't have the feeling.
Yeah.
I love competing. I love training." And, I always watch people when their retirement speech and they go, "Oh, when you know, you know." And I'm like, I don't think I'll ever get that feeling.
Yeah, wow.
But you know what happened? Like, it was an epic off season because massive party.
Yeah.
My wife was fully pregnant. We went to a baby Lizard Island for a week.
Yeah.
I went from straight to Sydney Airport, straight to England to play the captain Italy in the World Cup.
Oh, how good is that?
So we had another 4 weeks over in England.
Yeah.
I come home a week later. We have Azura, our daughter, was born.
Yeah.
Then I have another 5 weeks off, hanging out with the family, and that was the best time ever.
Yeah.
And then I get into pre-season mid-January for 2014 season.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I found it really hard. The first 2 weeks, I was like, I just wanted to be home because we had a little daughter. Then that feeling was there, right?
Really?
Even after I started getting fit again, I was like, hang on a minute.
I want to be home with my family.
Is this the feeling?
Yeah.
Is this the feeling that I should retire?
Yeah, wow.
I discussed it with Terry, and she was like, "No, you should be right," because she wanted me to play on.
Yeah. She seems like a woman. I don't know, but a glass half full woman.
Yeah,
100%. Like looking at the positive side of rather than negative.
All time. She her just the bubbliness of life. She had everyone in hysterics at the club. And she used to talk to a lot of the fans. She's unreal. Yeah. So I was like, I think this is it.
Yeah.
I've got to make the call. I'm gonna retire. And I sat on it for a while. Obviously played the season out, or most of the season out. And with 6 weeks to go, I announced it and I was going to retire.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. That feeling just hit you. Just like
it just hit me. And then I was thinking, it is right. When you know, you know.
You just know.
You just know.
Yeah.
Like, I could have went and probably pushed the body another year, but I was mentally starting to check out. And that's, once that happens, you've got to pull the pin.
Mate, it's not even close to your incredible career and situation you're in. But I've been finding, I'm 33 now. In the last probably 6 months, I've realised I don't have the fire. Like that fire and the killer to want to go and play footy in that. It's just not there anymore.
I know. And and they even asked me year after year, come back and play the Nines. Come back and play the Nines. I was like, I don't need to. I don't want to.
I don't know the fire.
I know, It's just, I love watching it now. Like the game, the athleticism of the boys now, it's unbelievable,
Yeah.
So it's just, I love watching it. Yeah.
Mate, it's bizarre how it, because I do some boxing in that, and I'm pretty good at it or whatever. They keep saying, "Oh, do you want to fight?" And I'm like, guys, I know.
Boxing's some of the best training you can ever do.
Absolutely,
it's unbelievable. That's right. But my mates the same, and
they're like, "Why not? You're good at this, good at." And I'm just like, you guys don't understand. Like, if you've been an athlete for at least 5 or 10 years, I was in the system for about 8 to 10 years, and you've experienced it, and you get past. It's like I've done it. Like,
100%.
Fuck, I just don't have that fire.
But obviously, because you got your passion here now with your business, and same as me, that's why it's hard for professional sports people, not just rugby league players, everyone that plays this professional sport is to find their next chapter, find what they're passionate about,
Absolutely.
So I was lucky. I went through those injuries. That's why I'm so passionate about health and fitness and
Yep.
what I do now with MiniFit.
Yep.
And that's where all my stuff is geared to now.
Yeah,
you know?
that's
I
where
love
your
it.
fire
That's-
is.
Yeah,
really,
that is. That's
Ask all the boys this favourite rapper of all time. Are you a rap man? Tupac Shakur?
without
Okay.
doubt.
Mate.
But seriously, at school in the 90s, that's all I listened to, gangster
Yeah.
rap. It was
Yeah.
funny. I listen to everything. I love all music, right?
Yeah.
Tupac Shakur, hands down, my favourite rapper. I was devastated when he died.
Mate.
Devastated.
He's the first CD I ever bought, bro. Was
Yeah.
Tupac Shakur's greatest
Yeah.
hits.
Well, oh, mate, all Eyes on Me album was the best ever.
Mate,
My first CD, though,
Yeah.
I remember it, was Regulators, Warren G.
No way, Regulators. No way. That's
Yeah.
a great song.
100%.
Fuck.
That was my first ever CD.
Mate, that's a trip down Regulators.
Yeah.
That's a great song.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fucking Warren G, bro.
Warren G.
Favorite movie of all time?
Well, to be honest, I'm not a huge movie buff. I've watched some great movies, then
Yeah.
I forget. Like,
Yeah,
what's my favourite movie? Like,
What first sprang to mind, or nothing sprang to mind?
originally back in the day, you know, which is probably everyone's favourite, is Shawshank Redemption. But
Yeah, great movie.
But what's I don't know. There's a funny one it's pretty funny.
Step Brothers.
No,
Everyone
not
says
Step Brothers,
Step
not Step Brothers.
Are you a Will Ferrell man or not really?
Yeah, I like him. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like him.
Yep.
What other movies are good?
Mate, this
Yeah,
is.
so I've got a bad memory for movies.
You'll be driving the car and you'll be like,
Yeah,
that
I
one.
know, 100%. Yeah.
We watched NWA
Oh yeah, that's good.
last night.
Yeah.
We've seen it before.
Yeah.
I watched it again. It's just, you look at
All that. That's where that's the era when I was listening to all that stuff.
Great
It's
rap.
just, yeah.
great music. You
And
just
what
look
about
at-
did you watch the Dr. Dre story?
yeah, like with the documentary?
Yeah.
With like Eminem in that?
Yeah, with Eminem and
Mate,
about
incredible.
beats and yeah.
Mate, incredible.
That was one of my favorite documentaries.
So good. Like
Yeah.
to think these kids that come from nothing.
Amazing, isn't it?
Nothing.
Yeah.
And their creativity, like their
Phenomenal.
intelligence
Phenomenal.
impacts the entire world.
Mm-hmm.
It blows my mind.
Yeah.
If everything happens perfect in the next 12 months, where are you and what are you doing?
Yeah, so I really want to expand MiniFit and the school programs and
Yeah.
get my school program out there to a lot of other schools.
Mm.
And I really want to start growing the online business as well.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to check it out, just go to minifit.com.au. There's 2 weeks free. You can train with me. So yeah, have a look at that. And yeah, I'm writing a book, mate. So
Oh, yeah, how
I
good.
want to get that out this year, and it's not a book about my career.
Okay.
Although we dive into the injuries in my career,
Mm.
it's more of a well-being book and my 4 steps that I follow.
Yep.
I'll go into depth with my 4 steps,
Mm.
and yeah, it's just a health and well-being book.
Mate, how good's that?
Yeah.
I mean, anyone's just listening to that podcast, you know that there's a huge backing of, as I said before, a stamp of approval. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you're just some guy that rolls in and is like, oh, I want to do health and wellness. Like,
Yeah,
you've been through it.
Well, that's why.
You've
I've got a lived experience with it, so
Yeah.
I know that this stuff works that I
Absolutely.
talk about. So
Mate, I need to start doing it. I'm
Come on,
bloody.
mate, let's
I'm
get
going
you
to
on the
sign
program.
up, mate. I honestly do. Honestly, I'm so bad.
Yeah.
My diet is shit. I'm lazy. It
Mate,
just
it is.
doesn't
It's 80% diet.
Yeah.
Like, I've got people to get their goal weight with hardly even training, just with
Wow.
10,000 steps a day.
Wow.
It is. It's what you eat, what you put in your mouth.
Hear that, darling? You need to be better. Mate, thank you so much for coming on. As I said, huge fan of you as a player, and I love what you're doing now. I think it's great.
Awesome, mate. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate the chat. We could talk for hours, mate.
100%. Well, done.